well, the Raiders did it. They went ahead and pulled the trigger, worked with Derek Carr's agent to finalize, as it's termed, a 5-year, a whopping, giant, huge 5-year, $125,000 contract with a $40 million signing bonus and $70 million in guaranteed money total. Woo! Derek Carr is now not only a rich man, but arguably, as I think about it, the first NFL quarterback to secure a deal this large who has never won a playoff game. Think about that. I mean, I'm thinking about when Michael Vick landed his $100 million contract with incentives and with the Falcons years ago. And I believe it was 2006. But he had actually, by that time, led the Falcons to the NFC Championship game. He didn't win, but he led them to the game. Now, hey everybody, Joseph Jones says, hey Zinni, yes, he is way overpaid. Mario says underpaid. Great again says this is a bad idea. We have views all over the place, folks. Look at this. And 10 watching right now. Look at this. Quite interesting. And Raider Gans says this is a bad idea. Raider Gans, why is this a bad idea to you? I'm taking all comers to discuss this event of news, and I'm sure Big Reg knows what he's doing. Question mark? No way. It is a bad move, says Drew Glaze. Raider Gans says if he gets injured, we could be in a very rough situation, kind of like last year, right? Tanner says, how you doing? Tanner says the alternative is to let him get to free agency and possibly lose a franchise QB forever, or arguably gain one. I mean, look, you've got Kirk Cousins out there, right? Who's to say you would lose one and gain one, right? I'm just saying, okay? I have never been like a bandwagoner for Derek Carr just because he's Derek Carr, right? I mean, and is that a fault of mine? Yes, it's a fault of mine. Is it personal toward him? Absolutely not. No. He is a fine Christian young man, and that's what I like about him. And that's not the case at all. I just think you have to prove your way into money. That's all. I really do. Tanner says Carr equals Cousins right here. I'm going to do some of the NBA draft a little later. Yeah. Not right off. This is a short stream. I'm going to turn to the draft in a few minutes. I'm going to do this stream just for maybe about 20 minutes. But I wanted to get this out there and then talk about it later, okay? With Raider Nation, or even if you're not Raider Nation, at least you have some idea on this. Now, if you wonder what I'm doing, I am putting out the tweet to announce this stream. And again, if you're not familiar with YouTube Live Mobile, that's not something that you can do ahead of time. You have to do it as you run the stream. It's a little screwy that way. So, but I digress. Maniac! Right here, Maniac says, like I said, love him, but would have paid him $15 and let him work his way up. That's just me. Right. And I did reach out to his agent regarding even more details. I asked him about the incentive structure. So that email is still outstanding. It's still outstanding right now. Now, what else do we have here? We've got, let's see. E. Mosley says, Reggie is the same smart guy who fixed our whole salary situation in the first place. Let's not forget. Deshaun Dixon says, we have not had a quarterback since Ghana. You pay a QB or you slide back down in cesspool of losing. Drew Glaze says, if we don't pay him, right here, then someone else will, and we will look stupid and go back to the Andrew Walter days. Raider Gann says, I think he needs to win a playoff game first before we jump to that kind of money. And I agree. Drew Glaze says, that's how the quarterback club works. Next couple of weeks, Stafford and Cousins will be worth even more. He did set a new bar, didn't he? You know? I mean, hold on a second. I got to clear up something here with this. One moment. He did set a new bar, did he not? And this is a little blurry. Let me clear that up. Okay. Let's see if that works. Yeah, let's have a look now. That's better. So I thought I did that before, but something happened there. Whatever happened, it's cleared up now. Sorry about that, folks. But hey, look. 21st century. Vlogging in action, right? Now, Joseph Jones says, E. Mosley, he also never overpays a player. It's always been a prove your worth system. Drew Glaze says, Andrew Luck is 24-6. Derek is 24.6. Derek's 25. Jumped to an extra 400,000. Who's better in passer rating, though? Check that out while you're doing that. Who's better in passer rating? Check that out, you know? Who is better in passer rating? I'm just wondering. Now, some of you will point out that I have been the one to predict that Jared Carr wouldn't start from the beginning, that someone else would start over him. And yeah, it was because I, again, believe that the starting job was being handed to him rather than Carr actually playing into it, okay? And I think that he was given more time and more turns at bat to be the man, okay? And yet, he's gotten us through the season, but he didn't make it to the playoffs. Yeah, he got injured, but you can make a claim, hey, you know what? He should have seen that pass rush coming, spun out of trouble and ran for yardage, right? I'm just saying. But it didn't happen that way. But look, this is the business of football. This is a matter of me being mean to him. This dude is rich. Heck, he was already pulling in over $1 million, okay? So it's not about that at all. We're not talking about, you know, someone we're trying to stop from, you know, being homeless. This man is rich and getting richer. So that's beside the point. We can afford to be critical. It's okay to be critical. I'm just saying. Now, E. Mosley argues here, going back to, he says, he led us to our first playoff berth. It's not about other quarterbacks. It's about what he's worth to us. He didn't lead the Raiders to their first ever playoff berth. I mean, let's not get carried away. D. Dixon says, man, forget rating. Imagine Raiders without him. I am. I can imagine a lot. Kirk Cousins. And Dixon says there's no Raiders in Vegas. There's no Vegas and Raiders either. But the whole point is that Raider Gannon says, how do we know Mark wasn't involved with this? Oh, I'm sure he was. It would make sense being that Derek has recently become the face of the Raiders in Vegas. Well, no, I mean, Mark Davis, look, let me say one thing. Criticize Mark Davis for the Vegas moves? Yes. But criticize him overall for the Raiders moves? No. Mark Davis has done an outstanding job of rebuilding the Oakland Raiders. Let's just put that out there right now. Let's just get that out there and slam it against the wall, okay, and make sure it sticks. If I had, you know, an imaginary, you know, sign to slam against the wall, I would say Mark Davis has done the Raiders good, except Vegas. Okay? He has brought the Raiders franchise back to respectability. We're quibbling over details, but there can be no one that disputes the fact that the Raiders do have a marquee quarterback. That's it. Derek Carr is that quarterback. I'm only asking, is he worth $125 million? That's all, okay? That's all I'm asking. Now, Deshaun says he has done a great job of getting out of the way. I would argue he hasn't. Now, I would also argue that Bill Musgrave had an excellent offensive system for Derek Carr's unique talents. I'm concerned that the next offensive coordinator may not, I'm not saying will not, may not perform as well. Just like saying out there, be aware that it was Musgrave's system and not that produced these numbers for Carr and that it arguably got him the contract we're arguing about, okay? So, all right. Now, Raider Gann says, Carr has made the most public appearances of any Raider since the announcement. Almost like the peacemaker of this whole thing. Okay. But is he worth 125 million? Dixon says that 49ers short passing game was not good long term. What do you mean not good, Dixon? This is what we're talking about it because of him. It got him his numbers. It made him rich. What are you talking about? Drew Glaze says Derek's QB rating is 87.9. Luck is 87.3. Thank you, Drew. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. And that's a great starting point for advocating, for the deal rather than against. In other words, you could say, that's it right there. Okay, that's a great starting point. All right, sorry about that. We're live. BAC. Okay, back. All right, back. 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 Okay. Now, yeah, I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that. It was some sort of, I don't know why that happened, on all honesty, but it happened, so I'm back, all right? And let's see here. We are, right. So, Carr is, why this is happening, I do not know. But I think what I'm going to do is, okay, I'm going to put this right up here and not hold it, because something is happening power-wise that causes this. Okay, so hold on a second. Let me bear with me for a moment, folks. Bill O'Reilly voice. We'll do it live. Ha 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 ha. Hey Ruben, how you doing, my man? How are you doing? And okay, now let me see. This thing uses a lot of power. All right, and that's the deal here. So I am going to. Maybe it's a solar flare day. Maybe if I put that here. Or I could get... No, never mind. Okay. My point... All right. The Real Raider Juice says, we needed to sign Carr, but we overpaid. Yeah, I'm going back to my point. We overpaid the dude, okay? We just overpaid the dude. And thank you, Mr. Blackman. Oh, Mr. Blackman, I owe you an email. Thank you very much for the $2 contribution. Much appreciated. The Real Raider Jesse says, hey, Patrick, what do you think of the deal? Thank you. And Real Raider Juice says, hi, Zingy, Oakland is home. That's right. And it is home. And Dixon says, Zinny, that is the market. Can you explain that? Ruben says, doing well. How about you? I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine. It's Thursday. Lots going on. Editor Gann says, I don't think a healthy Luck would throw 68 interceptions if he played with a current Raider roster. I agree. Mosley says, is he worth... Let's check that, okay? Let's check Andrew Luck versus Derek Carr, all right? Let's check on that. Andrew Luck. L-U-C-K. Here. Andrew Luck stats. Andrew Luck stats. ESPN is here. I'm gonna set this up so it's side by side. All right. So here's Andrew Luck. All right. Right here. Here's Andrew Luck.
Just like we practiced.
Okay, we can get started.
Get rid of that crap there. I don't want to hear that ad. All right, that's the season. There's his career. Let's get Derek Carr. I don't really like that breakdown. Let's do the complete stats. This is better. There we are. Okay, here are the complete stats. Andrew Luck. There are complete stats for Mr. Luck. And then let's get Mr. Carr. Derek Carr. Here. Ta-da. Jesus. Excuse my language. Derek. C-A-R-R. Carr. Derek Carr. There's Derek Carr. Scroll down. And ESPN stats. There we go. Complete stats are here. Here. All right. So, dated, all right, 2014 second round, whereas Andrew Luck, 2012, all right? So here we have Mr. Luck with 2 more years of experience in the NFL than Derek Carr, okay? Who just came in 2014, all right? Okay? And see that? He's not worth it, says Steve Collins. Only played 3 years. Hope the big money doesn't jinx him. So, and Dixon says Derek Carr only needs to win. So this is a big problem for me, all right? Because look, this is Luck. 2012 through 2016, okay? His 87.3 total yards, 19. What's wrong with my eyesight here? Come on, Zinni. 19,078, right? Look at that. He has thrown 132 touchdowns and 68 interceptions, all right? Now we look over at Derek Carr, okay? And we have 14, 15, and 16. That's it. Right? We have 11,194 yards. We have 81 touchdowns, 31 interceptions. Okay? But 81 touchdowns. We have 31 interceptions, yes. 87.9. So really, he hasn't played as much. And look, his years, in terms of years, right? Look at these years. 3,000 or 3,000 yards, right? Correct, right? But in 2016, he finally led us to the promised land. One thing he had were fewer interceptions. He had 6 versus 13. That was the big difference. Okay? And 2 fumbles. And a QBR of 60.6 for a rating of 96.7. He was 91 before. So a lot of this, considering the modern passing game and how it's very easy to have a quarterback post over 3,000 yards passing. Look at Jameis Winston with 4,000 and Cam Newton with 4,000 his first year. Man, I don't know. Dixon, I agree. You said forget those stats. It's about winning. Oh, volume is down? You mean my volume? Let me see here. How's that? Okay. Now, can you hear me? Derek Carr's contract's a little too high. Is that loud enough for you? All right. All right, cool. Now, yeah, I wasn't, hey, Deshaun, I wasn't really saying anything. I was going through the numbers, so I wasn't saying much to begin with. But my point is that, all right, Erdogan says, it's about the dough, man. Joseph just came back up. Oh, a little or a lot? A little. A little. Not a little. A little. All right? A little. Let me get rid of these stat charts right now so we can just argue. We just argue our point. I mean, because, you know, to some of you stats don't matter, to some of you do. To me, stats matter, okay? They really do. Now, Drew Glaze says, well, with a salary cap jumping every year, it's not going to be a big deal. Really? Really? And another comment here I want to get to. This is really interesting. By E. Mosley says, exactly, Drew Glaze, and also about showing your players how much you value him. As soon as tomorrow another team could top Derek Carr's contract, only to make him the highest paid. We've seen this before. So what do you think that happens with respect to Kirk Cousins? Because, you know, Kirk Cousins has got to see this. And there's the comparison, all right? So let's check this out. Kirk Cousins and Derek Carr. Hold on a second. This is going to be interesting. So let's get Derek Carr back, okay? All right. Let's get Derek Carr back. Where's Derek Carr? There's Derek Carr right there. So there's Derek Carr, and then let's get Kirk Cousins. Hold on a second. Once they're both up, then we can do the comparison, okay? Because I think this is something worth checking out, all right? Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins. Funny, when you type Kirk Cousins in search, you know what the first most searched term is? Kirk Cousins yells. Like, how'd you like that, huh? Anyway, here's Kirk Cousins. ESPN stats right here. Have a look. Now, guess what? Kirk Cousins has played 2012, right? So he has been in the league since 2012. I think we did this before. For 12,000 yards. Look at this. His rating is 93.76. So you know Kirk Cousins has got to be pissed off, man. Look at these yards. But here's the thing. 2015 and 16, he was over 4,000 yards both. Prior to that, not much. He was, trading time with RG3 and all that stuff, right? But look, 4,000 yards. Look at that. Look at that. 42 interceptions, 72 touchdowns. Hey, so we got a little controversy here. Kirk Cousins could argue that he is worth more. Now, Drew Gray says, I agree, E. Dixon says, back up. Now, I don't know what he's talking about. Let's see here. Oh, I see. Just came back. I'm sorry. Steve Collins says they had to pay the man. If Raiders were going to lose like in the past, the stadium would be empty. This is a trying time for the Raiders. They are playing Russian roulette with a fan base. That's true. In fact, Steve, that's one of the best comments I've heard about the Raiders. Period. Joseph Jones says no one else was given a chance to start Drew. Now Drew is saying that Derek has been starting since day one. Cousins not so much. But Cousins has played longer than Derek Carr. And in the last 2 years, he's posted over 8,000 passing yards. 4,000 each year. And that points to my comment that in a pass-happy spread league, it's very easy to install a quarterback that posts a 3,000-yard season. Okay? Now, if that's your measure. Well, to me, it's winning. Patrick and Blackman says this. This is an era where quarterbacks have the opportunity to put up Star Wars statistics. Yes. Mr. Dixon says, Zinni, I'd rather compare our history quarterbacks wise. Think about the guys we've had since Gannon. Name those scrubs. We need a good QB to be in the mix. We've had them, though. I mean, I would argue that Matt McGloin was that person, and we didn't really develop a system around him. I would argue that we had the ultimate game-changing quarterback in Terrell Pryor. We didn't build a system around him. It's like we kind of went along and finally got a guy in Carr whose offense at Fresno State I loved, and I loved watching him play. And then we built the offense around him with Musgrave. And Musgrave took elements of different college approaches and installed them in the Raiders system. And I don't care what anybody says, that made the biggest difference in Carr's success. He learned the offense under Musgrave and then reduced his interceptions last year by half. Okay? Now, Dixon says, Pryor, please. Why? Oh, why? No, I want to argue. Why? Now, Drew Glaze says, hell more with McGloin. Why? This is a fourth quarter comeback guy. I'm serious. Dixon says, I'm talking about being able to win. Hey, so am I. You don't give the Raiders defense any credit for those wins? Patrick M. Blackman says, Musgrave was too conservative. But we won. I mean, look, I don't believe in... I do not believe in assuming that... I'm not going to get that. Assuming that because an offensive coordinator is new, unless they have a track record like a Mike Martz, and that comes with some, issues. I'm not going to assume that that person is automatically going to be better than the last one. I'm just not, okay? And Raider Gans says it. Musgrave was better than Knapp. I agree. Greg Knapp, oh boy. He's been a lot of places, journey person without question. But I cannot point to a game where I can say that Knapp has been innovative. Musgrave last year was innovative. His approaches were innovative. Tanner says, Carr is a fourth quarter guy. McGloin wet himself for the third quarter. But I can think of some times when McGloin brought us back in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately, they were in the preseason because he never really got his chance, save for once, in the regular season, all right? Now, say for 1 year. But Knapp, we all agree, was terrible. Patrick and Blackman says his conservative play calling also left to losses. I believe you're talking about Knapp. Dixon says, since Gannon, we have not had a good QB till now in terms of a winner. Deshaun, you build winners. Winners don't just come to you. You build them. You organizationally build them. I would argue the Raiders have organizationally built Derek Carr into that person, but they went a little too far, okay? They went too far. Raider Gans says, Knapp destroyed QB's mentality. Drew Glay says, 12 fourth quarter comebacks in 3 years. Dixon says, I like McGloin as a backup. That's all I'm saying. But he's also a potentially good starter. And I think he could have been that person with the right TLC, if you will. Offensive, technical, schematic TLC. Brian Guidry says, hey, Brian, how you doing? He says, well, it wasn't Carr that got paid. If it wasn't Carr that got paid, Tyler Wilson would have signed the deal. Ha. Dorian says, Carr is a quarterback that has not come along often. He has helped change the Raiders organization. Drew Glay says, McGloin could not throw passes 30 yards with accuracy. Oh, that's not true. Dixon says, Greg. Joseph Jones says McGloin's problem is he couldn't get over mistakes made in the game. That's true. Now that I do agree with. He did sort of have that good memory, which sometimes you don't want to have, right? You want to have a selectively good memory. And so, hey, Barry Lee, how you doing? Barry Strong, how you feeling? Jamal, how you doing? Jamal says, so if Carr can win this year, he deserves the pay? Yeah. I mean, let me put it this way. What if the Raiders go 6-10? What would your response be if the Raiders go 6-10 this year with all the changes they made? And why would they go 6-10 this year with all the changes they made? One reason, defense. Okay? Well, yeah, defense. Because, look, for all that we talk, we have to agree that last year, paced by Khalil Mack, the defense of the Raiders made timely plays, made timely stops. They weren't as great against the run as we'd like, but they weren't bad. They were one of the tops in the league at stopping the run, But what if that changes this year? What if they don't significantly change their schemes, teams catch up to and have better response for those schemes? Okay? Just saying. Steve Collins says he believed in McGloin. And he says, let's see, that he said, I'm curious, Carr had to be extended now, so what would you think is a fair extension? I would think a fair extension is $110 million with incentives, and that's why I'm trying to get a hold of his agent, or I sent an email to his agent and get a response back on my question regarding his incentive structure. Okay, that's a big deal to me, because if it is an incentive laden contract, I'm happier. Okay, if not, I'm like, eh. But if it has ladders in it, then yeah, I can deal with the ladders. I don't know about you, I can deal with the ladders. But he got $40 million and then a total of $70 million in guarantees. That's okay. So that implies right there that you have incentives. What does the incentive structure of his contract look like? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Brian says all about the guaranteed money and the $70 million doesn't reset the market, making it slightly easier to re-sign Mac in the near future. That's a good point. Maniac says, look what happened to Joe Flacco. He had to win a Super Bowl before he got paid, which I thought was just. And when he did get paid, Joe hasn't really been the same. Exactly. Okay? But he got them to a Super Bowl, which means that they got good value out of him. So what are you saying? I mean, look. Again, I asked this question and no one has answered it. What if the Raiders go 6-10? By the way, it's 4:53. I'm going to break for the NFL draft, all right? NFL draft. I'm going to break for the NBA draft, okay? How long the extension did they give Carr? 5 years. And Bernard says Carr deserves to be overpaid. Yeah, why? Okay, folks, look. He brought the Raiders back to relevance. I would say it's Mark Davis that brought the Raiders back to relevance any more than Derek Carr. And I would also say that it's also Reggie McKenzie who more than deserves the NFL Executive of the Year award he received, who brought the Raiders back to relevance. So McKenzie and Mark Davis. Okay, there you go. So anyway, folks, look, it's 4:54. I'm going to break right now. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to break for a minute. And come back and get ready for NBA draft live stream. I am not going to show the draft itself live. That's a copyright violation. But I will do a live vlog of it. How's that? Okay? The draft is in 3 hours. The draft starts at 5 o'clock here, man. What are you talking about? Draft starts at 5. Oh, you're right. Draft starts at 6:30. I'm sorry. You know, Deshaun, you're right. I got my time screwed up, so I'm glad you corrected me. I'm on the East Coast, okay? So, Deshaun, I stand corrected. And by the way, when are you going to come on my show live and talk about your baseball idea, man? Okay? And do you realize I'm going to call you out as a smart brother? Folks, D. Dixon is one of the smartest architects in the country. He is an architect you don't know about, and you should, okay? I'm only mad at my brother for one reason. He did not make. And I did say I'd pay, but I thought the price was exorbitant. I'm putting it out there, okay? A design to go along with my concept for Mark Davis's idea request that I came up with. That's the only thing. Because had he done that, he would have been, I'm talking about you, man, Deshaun would have been major league known around the world. Would have got him into the NFL owners meeting, the whole 9 yards. I had a big plan, man, but oh well. Whatever. Could still do it, though. Hey, in fact, Deshaun, why don't you still do it? Yeah. You know what? We should talk about that. We should talk about a plan to do that because the Raiders still don't have a stadium, right? Deshaun, are you there? Deshaun cut out. You got mad at me. Don't get mad at me, bro. I'm pumping you up here. All right. Oh, man. Now, he says, Zinni, are you reading? I'm reading what everybody says. Tanner says, but Deshaun, I took a break to talk about, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? Now, say yes, Deshaun. Come on, brother, say yeah. So anyway, Tanner Adams says, if the Raiders go 6-10, come on, you know what I'm talking about. All right. If we go 6-10, people are going to start talking about pulling Connor Cook. Yeah, which I'm not sold. Well, again, we have a new offense. Does anyone know what that offense is going to look like? We're going to throw deep. Sure. All right? Now, Deshaun, do you answer my question, man? Hey, everybody, on the count of 1, 2, 3, right? Dixon is the best. 1, 2, 3. Dixon, I'm writing it here. Dixon is the best. Bam! Right there. Dixon is the best. Architect. There we go. Dixon is the best. Architect. Gotcha. All right? I'm not letting you get out of this, brother. You think you're going to hide back there like, nobody sees me. No. We're going to make you famous, man. I'm serious about that. I'm going to make you bring your A game because you got an A+ game. You know it, okay? If you had done a design, yeah. Don't get off about that. Okay, man. Read this. Dixon is the best architect, all right? I got him, folks. I got him. He's mad. But look, people need to see when an African-American man produces a genius design. Oh, it says, Zinni, this is not Deshaun. I thought, who are you then? Well, then get Deshaun, man. What are you doing on here? Just kidding. Wait a minute, but you know Brian, you know Boss Man, right? Okay? But you know what I'm saying, all right? All right. I got to get this. Pass the word, man. Pass the word. All right. Now, back to what we were saying. People were saying the Raiders did not have money to pay Carr. Well, that's the other question is it's not so much that they don't have the money. Obviously, they do. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done the deal. But, well, look. I need to look at the roster with respect to cap space. And because it's not so much that they don't have the money. Yeah, that B of A issue is sticking out there, isn't it? It really is. It is sticking out there, isn't it? Now, I got to check on this whole NBA thing. Hold on a second. 6:30. Let me go back. Go to the NFL Network first because I want to see if they're talking about Derek Carr. And they're talking about the top 100 players of 2017. Okay. There's the NBA draft preview. That's it. 2 hours left on it. Okay. 7 p.m. Eastern. Thanks. Well, really, I want to start at 6:30. Okay. But thank you for that. I still need to, eat, run errands, and that sort of thing. But Maniac says if we go 6-10, people will start talking about putting in Connor Cook. That's true. Well, that's true. But if we go 6-10, my contention is that it would be the fault of the defense, and we would start talking about needing to make a change at defensive coordinator, if not head coach. Okay, because we're loaded. There's no reason why the Raiders should go 6-10. We are loaded. Barry Lee says the city of San Antonio is now on the hook to build an $80 million stadium for a AAA baseball team that was announced. That was announced today. Wow. Patrick and Blackman says exactly defense fault. It would be. It would be the defense's fault. I mean, look at who we have on offense. Look, we have Marshawn Lynch, Cordell Patterson, Andre Cooper, Michael Crabtree, and a now rich Derek Carr. So, okay, we have no business going 6-10, but it could happen, Bernard. Change does not occur in a vacuum. Tanner Adams says, I fully agree with your comments on the defense. Yeah, because, look, the defense got us the record that we posted last year. Only a defensive failure would get us the record, a poor record like 6-10 this year. That would be it. And I'm not talking against Ken Norton Jr. or any coach. I am not comfortable having said that with a scheme. And that is not Ken Norton Jr.'s fault. That is the fault of the head coach, Jack Del Rio, who favors that kind of scheme. I do not favor two-gapping. I hate two-gapping. I think two-gapping is the dumbest defensive technique in the world, and I don't care if Bill Belichick uses it. The Patriots win for other reasons. Two-gapping is not one of them. So, in an offense that's good, yeah. Hey, John Marks, how you doing? Ryan says, why are people talking like we're going to lose? Why are people talking like we're going to lose? Stop putting the Oakland Raiders down. Beast mode brings much to lose. But Ryan, hold on a second, all right? It could happen. And you just tuned in, but I said, what if the Raiders go 6-10? It could happen. Look, this is not... I'm not talking about a belief in Jesus Christ here. I only believe, or rather have faith in Jesus Christ. I don't have faith in people. I trust, but faith, no way. I'm telling you something, too, if you're a young person listening to this or tuning in here. Have faith in God. Trust people. But have blind faith in God. That's where you put your faith in. So from that perspective, I'm saying, hey, look, a 6-10 season could happen. Accept it. It could happen. The question isn't that it happens. The question is, what are the components that will cause it? And what would your reaction be to Derek Carr's contract under those circumstances? That's all I'm saying, okay? And I'm not some spiritual power that's going to jinx the Raiders by talking about the possibility of a 6-10 season. In fact, I will tell you something. The Raiders, have historically had better records. In fact, NFL teams in general, and Jack Del Rio in particular, has had better records the year when he made a change in offensive coordinator. Okay? Guess what he did this year? He made a change in offensive coordinator. So by the analysis of his own history, we should do better this year. Everything points in the direction of a better season. Everything points in the direction of a season where the Raiders are at least in the AFC Championship game. The trouble is that we have two organizations in the AFC West that have significantly changed themselves. The Denver Broncos and the San Diego Chargers. And when you make a change like that, it means that I don't know what you're going to do offensively. Okay? Donis, how you doing? Donna says hello. John, what do you think about this? Patrick M. Blackman says, most of the players in the top 100 players for the Raiders are on offense. Only Khalil Mack is the only Raider on defense there. John Marks says, Donis, how you doing? And Steve Collins says we have to play the game. All right? So my point is, it's not a matter of thinking. It's a matter of asking. That's all. Look at this. This is the draft coming up, all right? Uncertainty, anticipation. That's the NBA draft red carpet over there. They're all getting ready for the biggest days of their lives. Isn't that something? Barry Lee says, with Carr's extension contract at $25 million, I would think it would give Bank of America and other potential backers to think twice about Vegas. No connection. John Mark says, I think Oakland Raiders will go 11-5. I need to sit down and think about that one. I really do. Hey, folks, it's 5:06. I'll be back to talk about this later. But I need to take care of some things right now because the draft starts soon, and I need to get some other work issues out of the way related to this, all right? So, my Maniac says winning is never guaranteed. Look at the 49ers. They got a brand new stadium. They were winning before they got it. Now they're garbage. Hey, there you go. D. Dixon says 6-10. All right, folks. I'll see you soon, all right? I'll be back for the NBA draft. But thank you very much for your input in a very lively conversation. Much needed. I'll see you guys soon, okay? All right. Yeah, it was a good talk, Tanner. Thank you. It was. Good talk. I'm writing, thanks all.